here does something that we call coprophagy. Can you all say that together? I'm going to count to 3, then you're going to say it. Coprophagy. 1, 2, 3. Coprophagy. Now, coprophagy is when you eat your own dung. Now, thankfully, of course, we don't have to do that, do we? But rabbits do that. And what they do, the first time it comes out of their bottoms, they eat it straight from there, but it's this kind of slimy pellet. And then the second time they do it, it comes out as this dry ball, like this. And the reason they do it, it's quite a good reason, is that because they eat only vegetation, it's very difficult for them to digest the food and get enough nutrients from the food that they eat, so they have to kind of eat it twice. And it's a little bit like a cow or a buffalo or an impala, which will eat the grass and the leaves, and then they vomit it up into their mouths and they rechew it and they swallow it again. Again, very happy that we as human beings don't have to do that sort of thing. Okay, let's carry on our little walk. Now, I'm on foot here. Gendre is on camera. And, there's some interesting things here. Also on the ground here, over there is Herbert. And Herbert is tracking for us, and he grew up here, so he knows more than anybody about this area. Now, I'm going to answer your question, Maya, shortly about water. But first I want to show you 2 interesting things here. Here is a track, and if you can see some very sharp claw marks. See that? Now, those claw marks there are from a hyena. Now, what was this hyena doing? This whole area, big storybook, and if you're skilled like Herbert is, you know how to read it. And Herbert teaches me and Gendre basically every day new things about how to read what we call the bush newspaper. So that is a hyena, but what was it doing? And if you look over here, this wasn't recent, this is quite old. Here you can see another track of an animal that has no claws. See that? No claws? And that was a male leopard. And what's happened here is that this hyena was chasing the male leopard, quite possibly because the male leopard had something that the hyena wanted to eat. So, while we've been talking about a male leopard, let's head back across to Brent and see if he can show us more of those incredible leopards that he's got with him.
So, of course we can show you a male leopard, even though he's still having a snooze. The only thing he's doing is flicking his ear to try to keep biting flies off him. Now, I've been looking carefully for the little cubs. So what we're going to do is I'm going to try and move a little bit to where I last saw the cub. And maybe we'll get a glimpse of one of the cubs, or hopefully even both. Okay, I think I can just see a cub. Let me just move around so I can get a view for you guys. I think I can just see a few spots in a bush. Okay, so we're going to go around. And, okay, there we go. A little bit more to the left. And center of the screen. There we go, in that little bush there. And right in. Okay. There it is. So we just need it. We'll get the focus on it now. It's quite difficult in there. Okay. Sorry guys, hang on. We just have a camera malfunction. We'll sort it out now. That's the thing, is we are live, so we can't control. To the left. There we go. Right there. Okay, just let's get focus. Okay, just sorry guys, we're having the camera seems to be stuck. We're just trying to fix it now. Okay, a little bit to the left. There we go. We've got. Okay, now can you see that little white spot on the there we go. That little white spot there just to the left of the center looks like a leopard cub tail. I did see it move. Hopefully it moves again and gives us, and you can see the spots now. See how good its camouflage is. Now, I'm hoping it moves, but that leopard cub, if you see the big stick in the center, there's a little white spot above it. And if you go to the left of the big stick in the center, there's two branches going upwards. And just behind those branches is where the cub is. Vim, if you go slightly to the left. Okay, now center of the frame. There we go. You can just see the spots there. So obviously that's not the best view of a leopard cub. We will hopefully get a better view of it shortly. But we'll go back to the big male who's sleeping over there. And Chloe's wondering how we know the difference between a male and a female leopard. Well, Chloe, a male leopard is much, much bigger. Now I'm just trying to see. There we go. We can show you a bit more of the kill from here. So if we go into the bush here, the male leopard's lying right there, but you can just see the impala a little bit to the left. There we go. There we go. There's the impala kill. Okay, there we go. You can just see the impala there. Isn't that's a nice meal if you're a leopard. Not so nice if you're a human. We prefer our meat to be cooked. Okay, so let's move on. We're going to go double check what's happening with the others. Hopefully one of those cubs pops out shortly, or we get to see mom again. Okay, so I'm just trying to reposition here. Tamia is wondering what is the difference between a leopard and a cheetah. Well, a cheetah is taller than a leopard, but it's not as heavy. And one of the really easy things to tell the difference between a leopard and a cheetah is if you look at their eyes. So I'm going to show you a leopard's eyes because we've got a leopard next to us. It's going to be nice if we had a cheetah as well. It wouldn't be nice for the cheetah because leopards are much stronger than cheetah. Make sure I don't fall into a big hole. There we go. So there we go. There, the big male leopard's head is up, so we can see his eyes. Now, if we look carefully around his eyes, you can see that it's pale under his eyes. There's a pale stripe there. Now, that's to help catch all the light around at night. So, oh, big yawn! You can see those big teeth. And that means a leopard does most of its hunting at night. Cheetah has black, almost looks like tear stains around its eyes, and that means it does most of its hunting when the light is up. So leopards are nocturnal. Cheetah are not truly diurnal, which means during the day. Oh, here comes another yawn. Oh, look at those teeth. And those black tear marks of the cheetah help it to diffuse light. Now, this is a very big word, but it's the word for, oh, he might eat a bit of the kill. Is he going to drag it out of the bush for us so we can see nicely? Nope, he's going to lie with his back to us and eat the kill through the bush. So back to the cheetah. So cheetahs are crepuscular. Now imagine it's a very difficult word to say. Crepuscular. And that means they like to hunt in the early morning and the late afternoon, at dusk and at dawn. Crepuscular. So, hi Dean and Nozzle, and they would like to know how long I've been a game ranger and what is the best part of my job. Well, I've been a game ranger since I was 18 years old, so now I've got to do some maths. So 15 years, and I've been lucky. I've grown up in the bush, so I've been living in the bush since I was younger than you, and I was always going to be a game ranger. And that's been, and what do I love? I love it all. I love being able to sit this close to a leopard while it eats its kill. I love finding leopards on foot. I love tracking. I like birds. It is incredible. I just got to be on the game drive radio in a little bit to help someone else find these leopards. So we talk to all the other cars here, and if we find something, we all tell each other, so we all get to see them. Okay, hang on. So while I talk on the game drive to try to figure out what's going on, James has found a fascinating crime scene to show you.
I'm at a crime scene, everybody, and I'm bouncing around on a very, very strong piece of buffalo. It's a buffalo rib, and it's so strong that it can hold my weight. Now, come over here, Gendre, and have a look in my hand. Oh, what I had in my hand, everybody, has escaped. It was an amazing beetle, and here it is. Here it is. You see it there, Gendre? Just next to my finger, there's a beautiful starling-coloured beetle of green and blue and a bit of black. You see him there? And he's just moving along, and I think that he was eating, I've seen a few of them around here, I think they're eating the last little bits of meat that are left on this buffalo. Now, the crime scene that we were talking about, see here? Look, all around here a whole lot of bones, and mainly the rib cage, these incredible strong springy ribs of the buffalo. And the buffalo was by a whole lot of hyenas, and what they did was steal it from some lions, and they dragged it through here and they put it in the shade. And why would you think they would have put it in the shade? I'm going to give you 2 minutes to answer me why you think they would have put it under the shade here. Remember, it's winter, it's not hot, so it wasn't for the sun. Why would they put it under the shade here? And here they ate it. And remember, the bush, like I was saying to you earlier, is like a newspaper. It's got lots of things to read about it. And this is exactly like a crime scene. Many of you would have seen crime scene shows on TV, and they figure out who killed who and how it all happened from an area just like this. We know, of course, what happened here because we actually saw it. We saw the lions killing the buffalo down there, and then the hyenas stole it, and they dragged it all through here. There were 12 hyenas, and I'm not sure how many lions there were, but an amazing sighting was had. So, that's the story over here. Why do you think they put it underneath this tree? Now, Taylor, while we're thinking about why they would have put the carcass under the tree there, you want to know if dung beetles only eat elephant dung? No, dung beetles just about eat any kind of dung, including some carnivore dung, which smells disgusting, like this carnivore dung over here. So dung beetles will, some kinds of dung beetles will even eat this. Now, I'm not going to pick this up. Can you see it's green? Now, there's only one carnivore that has green dung, and that is the hyena. And when it gets exposed to the sun, this hyena dung will go white. It'll go a plain white color. So that's quite interesting. That's hyena dung. Remember, Taylor, there are probably about 900 species, so 900 different kinds of dung beetles that we get here. So they eat all different kinds of dung. Let's just go back to the tree here and think about why it is that they would have pulled it under here. Remember, some of the major scavengers of this area are vultures. And vultures find kills and carcasses by flying up in the air, and they look. But hyenas are not scared of vultures, so they don't want to hide it from the vultures because of the vultures. But if vultures see it, and vultures start circling and they come down and land, lions and other hyenas from all around the area will see the vultures circling, same as we do as humans. We watch vultures, and when they see the vultures coming down to the ground, they'll think, "Ooh, there's meat over there," and they'll come running over here, and there'll be a big fight over the buffalo. And so that's why they put it under the shade, so the vultures can't come and find it and tell all the other animals where it is. Right, let's keep having a little on our little walk here. Hello, Rian. You're wondering if I've ever been charged by a wild animal. I have once or twice, Rian, but you must understand that that's normally because I've been very stupid. So, animals out here only charge us human beings when they are afraid. And they are afraid of us because I know it doesn't seem like that often when you see a lion or an elephant or a buffalo, but animals are afraid of us because for many, many, many hundreds of years we've been hunting them. And so they're scared of us. So if you make an animal scared, then it will charge you. And so if I have been charged by elephants and sometimes buffalo and one or two lions, it's because I've made them scared, and that's not what we're trying to do out here. Out here, we want the animals to be completely comfortable with us. So when I get charged by an animal, I don't feel, yay, that was exciting. I feel, ooh, I've made a big mistake, and I've made I've made an animal upset. And so upset that it's decided to chase me. And so it makes me very sad when that happens. And Herbert's just showing us over here an amazing track. Look at this. Look at this. Now, look, I'm going to put my hand in the middle there. See my hand? Same size as the track in the square. This is the square track of a lion, a big male lion. And what's interesting here is that you can see the claws. Now, many of you will have house cats at home, and you know that your house cat doesn't have claws all the time. Only when they stick their claws out do they have claws. Now, a lion is the same. Now, why do you think that a lion would stick its claws out? Well, the same reason very soon at the Rio Olympics, because when he wants to run very fast, he wants to grip onto the ground. And so when he's just walking, he doesn't put his claws out. But here now he's chasing hyenas. I think they're probably chasing them off that buffalo. And so he stuck his claws out into the ground so that he can get grip and run along like that. Now, it was quite wet here, but it hasn't been wet here at all during the dry season. And Maya, you've asked a very clever question about whether we give water or not to the animals out here. Maya, we do in some areas. So we do pump what we call pans, which is a natural sort of a bowl in the ground where we put water and then the animals can come and have a drink. But we don't have to give them a lot of water, and that's because they don't need to drink a lot of water out here. They're adapted, and that means that they're specially designed to living with not very much water. They can live with much less water than we can, Maya. Right, that's going to be it. So as I told you just now, they've been hiding the carcass from the vultures over there. I think that's all we've got time for with you kids, so I hope you have a very good day at school. Let's head back across to Brent.
So we've managed to get into a spot where we can see the little cub. So that's the one we were trying to find. So we did some off-road driving, and we can see that's the little male cub. There is a little female cub. I'm sure she's sleeping quite close by. We can't see her at the moment. And this little guy's name is Hosanna. And you can see how incredible his camouflage is. So if we zoom out, he'll just disappear. Look at that. And he's gone. So a huge, huge thank you to St. Stithians for joining us on this school sunrise safari. I hope you guys enjoyed it, and I hope we'll see you on safari again soon. Remember, you can watch when you're not at school. And isn't this a nice way to spend a lesson? I think I wish I got to watch game drives when I was at school. So from myself, James, and the rest of the Safari Live team, we'll see you soon, hopefully. Bye. So thanks very much for sitting with us through the school drive, guys. It is so important to develop the future conservationists of tomorrow. And there we go. We managed to get into a spot where we can just see Hasana. He's still watching Tingana, who has dragged that carcass into an even more terrible place for us to see. Karula is still lying up just near there. We'll probably go make our way back towards Karula in a little bit. I just want to see if we can find young Shongile around. So I'm just going to sit quietly here, watch around us, and see if the little female makes an appearance. It looks like he's looking longingly at what was once his impala kill until Tingana claimed it. Oh, look at that face. Isn't it just too sweet? Now, even though Tingana believes he could be the father, Shamsan would like to know, would he ever harm or kill the cubs? Unfortunately, yes, Shamsan. And Tingana's actually got a bit of a reputation for eating cubs. As far as I know, he's eaten about 5 or 6 different cubs since he's moved into the northern Sabi Sands. But so far, he seems to have calmed down as he's become a bit older. Doesn't eat so many cubs, and he's been seen now with both Shadow's cub and with Karula's cubs, and he hasn't, apart from a couple of low growls, showed too much ill intention towards the cubs. I don't think it would be wise for them to try going anywhere near that carcass, though. That might not end well. Oh, heads up. Well, we're going to leave little Hosanna in his thicket, and I think we'll go back and sit with Karula. She might get up, she might go hunting, so let's get back there, and you're going to get to come on a bit of an adventure with us. And so we're going to have to go through quite a steep little area. So Michael's wondering how much of the kill, oopsie, I nearly lost a camera operator. Michael's wondering how much of the kill did Karula and the cubs eat before Tingana arrived. I would say they'd eaten already about half of it when we left at the end of the sunrise safari yesterday. Here we go. And yeah, I'd say probably half, maybe even a, oh, come back here. Don't steal my blankie, thorn tree. So probably about half, maybe even a bit more than half before Tingana arrived on the scene. Tingana was on Cheetah, which is to the south, during the sunrise safari. So it's difficult to say. I found something that I lost yesterday. Now, to stop the high lift jack rattling, we have a bungee there. So what I'm just going to do, and sometimes, of course, because we do off-road through some thick bushes and stuff like that, we lose bungees, but it's always really exciting when we find one again. Yay! Here we go. VM loves bungees. They're his favorites. Bungees, third favorite. VM's favorite things are cable ties, gaffer tape or filming tape, and then bungees. Now we use them for everything. The VR rig is held together with a combination of of cable ties and bungees to stop the jack rattling. We've got bungees, we've got cable ties everywhere. Now, dip, and then again, operating in these areas, it's the 28-point turn. Gives us good strong forearms. Okay, so there we go. We'll show you. There's Tingana eating over there in the thicket. There he is. Unfortunately, he's not in the best position for us to view with his back to the most accessible spot. So let's go see what Queen Karula is up to. Now, if any of you are new and happen to accidentally, I mean literally, you're about to watch me go through a thorn bush with my arm on a live African safari, and there are 4 leopards around us. There we go. That's why it's always good to have thick jackets, and we can use them to get through some of the thicker areas. Now, Sally's wondering, see, this is nice, this is the toilet paper tray. It's so soft in comparison to what some of the stuff we have to deal with. Oh, she's moved. Where has the queen gone? Ah, she's moved not too far. She's moved closer to where Tingana is. Okay. So sorry, Sally. Sally's wondering, do the cubs have a way of getting to Karula without going past Tingana? They'd have to go past Tingana, but if she wanted the cubs with her, she would go to the other side of the drainage. It's hard work having lots of little cubs jump on you all the time, and especially when you've got to keep them fed. Wonder what she's spotted or heard. And there is the queen. In a very regal pose. Now, if we come out a little bit wider, so, wait, there's my hand, there's Karula. Tingana's in that thicket. We can't actually see him from here, but I can hear him crunching on the bones. Now, she's moved about 4 meters from when we last saw her. Oh, big yawn. Oh, beautiful. And it is excellent that she's spending more time within our Travis area. And as the cubs have got bigger, she seems to be bringing them and spending more time on Djuma, which is of course excellent for us. Now, Ellen Fowler would like to know, how far is Karula from Tingana and the cubs? So Tingana's there, probably about 15 meters away, eating in that thicket. The cubs are probably a further 15 meters on the other side. She's probably about 35 meters from the cubs and about 15 meters from Tingana. Ooh. There we go. The beautiful queen of Djuma. And we can hear some noisy arrow-marked babblers in the distance. Very aptly named bird. Now, Karula is staring at the moment directly at where Tingana is, or was. to sleep. Back to snoozing. Felicity is wondering, is there some sort of behavior that Tingana is showing that makes her know it's safe to keep her cubs there? I'm just going to slide forward a bit. Try and get you guys a view of Karula as she naps. There we go, that should do it. So Felicity, I will back to your question now. We just got ourselves into a slightly better position. And here he is, curled up in a little fur ball. So Felicity, probably the fact that he hasn't tried to eat them might reassure her. That he's far more concerned with the carcass than actually trying to chase the cubs. It's probably the most reassuring. Here we go. See, even though she's snoozing, watch her ears. They do move from time to time. If she hears a noise in a certain direction, try to figure out what that noise is, whether it's worth investigating. Quite peaceful here with the queen. I can still hear Tingana munching away. So while we sit here patiently to figure out what's going to go, or wait to see what's going to happen next, James has got a spiral horned I don't know to show you.
Seems to be day of the Nyala for us, everybody. These two are mercifully in much better condition than the other two we've seen today, which were inescapably dead. There are two here inescapably alive, and two bulls that have taken to the life of bachelors. They're living free of the sort of troubles of the family. That, of course, is totally normal for Nyala. And we just disturbed them here. They were clearly feeding on some of this last sort of greenery along the drainage line, and they're heading off there. And I think they'll probably spend most of the day doing exactly what they were doing here, just feeding along the fringes of the drainage. Now, we did hear an elephant in here somewhere, and we were hoping to try and get a view. If you're going to view elephants on foot, obviously you need to do it from a position, ideally, where they don't know that you're there. There are some parts of Africa, specifically a place called Mana Pools, there are actually 3 Nyala there, where the elephants have become so used to and so habituated to humans on foot that they will actually approach you and kind of sniff your breakfast cereal and then move on, and that's fine. In this area, it's not quite like that. And so if you are going to view an elephant on foot, this is a great place to do it, because you've got a view, you've got some cover if you want to get behind it, the wind is good. I'll show you what I mean by that. We're watching. There we go, straight into poor Gendre's face. Anyway, it does mean that if the elephant is down below here, then it won't smell you. But mostly you've got some height. And while an elephant could definitely come up here very easily, it's much easier to move away off a height like this than it is if you are lower down. So that's why this is a good position to try and view an elephant from. I can't see where he is, I can't hear him anymore. Herbert's gone off there to have a look, so we'll follow him. Our picture is quite unstable. We're going to try and follow Herbie. If it doesn't work, then we'll probably have to go back to Brent. Watch out here, Gendry. You can hear, maybe you probably can't, but there is a grey go-away bird going. You like that, Gendry? That was a really good impression, in my opinion. And It's doing that because it's seen us and it's a little bit alarmed by the presence of the apex predator over here. And the Nyala is still watching us quite carefully from through there. He doesn't know what we want. Very concerned. And as those kids were asking about earlier on, have I ever been charged by an animal? And it's a continuously amazing thing to me how terrified of us animals are. I mean, if you corner a Nyala, it will absolutely take you to pieces because it'll see no other option. But out here in the open, it's completely terrified of us. It won't let us get close, despite the fact that it's stronger and faster and more agile than we are, and yet it still has this unbelievable fear of the human being. And that, of course, is why it's relatively safe to walk in these areas, if you know what you're doing, and if you're relatively aware of what's going on around you. Astoundingly, the signal seems to have held, which is wonderful. There's Herbie up top there, just here having a look. Just having a smell and a listen. It's quite interesting. Dina, nice question from you about elephant teeth. You say you know that they have multiple sets of teeth, and do we ever find their teeth on bushwalk? Do we find them in their dung? No, we don't. Now, the reason we don't, Dina, is because when the teeth are replaced, Herbert's gone around the other side of those Nyala. So to them it's going to feel like they're being stalked. There they go. They have taken off at an unbelievable speed. He didn't realize they were there, and so quite by chance they found themselves sandwiched between two predators that they're terrified of, and they took off at an unbelievable speed. Sorry about that, Nyalas. That's actually not great to see, but it's not really our fault. We didn't do it on purpose. Dina, when an elephant loses its teeth, they don't fall out, they wear down. So when they're replaced from the back, by the time the new molar is fully in place, the front one has disappeared completely, so you wouldn't see that. I have seen elephant teeth. They don't fall out though, so you only ever find them in the bottom jaw of an elephant. We don't find many jaw bottoms from elephants because they do get dragged away by hyenas when the elephants die, and also because the elephants often die close to rivers and their bones tend to end up in the river systems. And so we don't often find elephant jaws, but their teeth don't fall out of their skulls like ours do. Nice question, that, Dina. I've never thought of it like that. We just say that elephants lose their teeth, but we don't often explain how that happens. Oh, here we go. Look at this. Look at this. This is a potato bush, everyone. Now, it smells like McDonald's potato chips or crisps during the night, and during the day it doesn't smell of anything. But it's these little bits and pieces here. Can you see the kind of copper red flowers and buds? It's those that smell like potatoes during the night. Now, this has been eaten by various animals. I suspect those Nyala have been having a go at this, and obviously the greatest damage we've seen is caused by elephants. And now, the name is amazing to me, so I'm going to have to get it again. Hang on a second. Nyabi. Not heard that one before, have you, Genre? It's not a common name, is it? Nyabi. Nyabi, you want to know how big an area an elephant will destroy in a day? That's not a question that's answerable for two reasons. The first one is that elephants don't destroy areas. We've got so used to using negative terms when we talk about how elephants operate in an area. They don't destroy areas. They do break trees, but that's creating homes for other animals. It's creating habitat for other trees. It's creating habitat for other plants. So while it looks destructive, especially if we look over here, for example, this looks like complete destruction. It isn't. This is creation as much as it is. It really depends. There's a second reason I can't answer the question too accurately, depends entirely on the size of the elephant and on the season. At this time of the year, the elephants will break lots of trees. In the middle of summer, after a huge amount, they won't break any trees at all. They'll only eat grass. So the best way to answer it is to just say a big elephant bull must eat probably about 660 pounds worth of food every single day. So that's quite a lot of food. So however long, however much that takes is how much it will destroy. Okay, we're going to continue up here, see if we can't find that elephant. And while we do that, let's head back across to Brent and his sleeping kitties.
Well, the Queen has not moved a muscle since we've been gone, so we're just sitting here patiently, watching, waiting, and we're just waiting for the other vehicle to move. There's only one spot to look at Mr. Tingana, and even then it's not the greatest, so we might go have another look in that spot, because Queen Karula is having a snooze. Ears up, head up. She keeps looking back there. I wonder, there were some impala snorting in the distance. I wonder if she's considering trying to go have a hunt. I must imagine it must be quite frustrating to lose your killed male leopards. Now, I have seen male and female leopards share a carcass before, but I've never seen Tingana share a carcass. I can't hear any bone crunching at the moment, so maybe he's gone back to snooze, and I wonder, will Queen Karula try to sneak in there and steal the carcass back? I have seen leopards do that before. Ears up, but eyes are closed. Just listening to see if I can hear Tingana munching. I can't. There can't be too much of that carcass left. Oh, no, back to snooze. As I said, we're just waiting for the other vehicle to move out before we go back down towards Tingana. So just to let you know what else has been found out there this morning, there's an Nkuhuma lioness mating with a Birmingham boy. I'm not sure which one, but they are to the southeast of Cheetah Cutline. I'm pretty sure there should be an Nkuhuma or three still on property somewhere. That's amazing. Our lion hunt quickly turned into a leopard morning. So Megan's wondering why a leopard doesn't need to drink water, and James was discussing it a bit earlier. Well, they get enough moisture, and just remember, I mean, a human being is 70% water. So when they kill and eat something like an impala, they're getting enough water from that carcass, from the blood, from the organs, from the meat. And what they do, if there is water available, a leopard will always drink. It's a bit easier. But if there isn't, they are able to survive just on the blood. Oh, Egyptian geese making a noise overhead. have disappeared. They went that way. So they were a bit fast there. They were flying at high speed. Okay, now we're going to still sit here with Karula. We're just waiting for that vehicle to move out, and then, we will. Well, while we wait, there's a bird. Let's go around it, and it could be a night. Oh, of course it flies away as we turn all the way around. Okay, so you can hear the vehicle, and it's quite a tricky spot to get in and out where Tingana is. And we're lucky, we've got a short wheel-based vehicle, so it's a bit easier for us to maneuver around in these drainage lines and thickets. As I said, I'm not hearing any bone crunching at the moment. So let's have a look at Karula. Her head's up, but her eyes are still closed. Oh, eyes are open now. Oh, it's tired kitty. So luckily, I think Karula and the cubs did manage to eat probably a little bit more than half of that carcass before Tingana stole it. Okay, it's nearly time to move and go have a look at Tingana again. But James has stumbled upon the creature he was looking for. So let's go have a look.
I haven't really stumbled across them so much as Herbert very skillfully listened and then found them. It's a herd of elephants, and as I was saying to you earlier, it's always nice to watch them from a bit of elevation and some cover. We're standing on the top of a very large termite mound. They are approximately, I'd say about 75 meters away from us. That in feet is about 180 to 200 feet away. So we've got some good space between us and them. The wind is blowing straight from them towards us, which means they won't smell us. I'm in grey, which is a very good colour to be out here. Chandra is in khaki, which isn't the best colour, but it's not bad. And so even if they were to look up here, because of the cover between us and them, it's unlikely that they would see us. The eyes are not bad, probably about as good as ours, but I don't think they'd see us because they wouldn't be looking for us. And likewise, if they were to see us, they probably wouldn't react too negatively. If the matriarch was feeling threatened, she might sort of take a few steps towards us, in which case we'd just disappear over the back of this termite mound and abscond into the bushes. And that's basically the best way to view elephants. So probably about 8 or 9 of them, I am guessing from the sound there. We've got a youngster there, as you can see, and another big one moving into view now. The other thing this height does is provide us an opportunity to see exactly where they're moving, so that before anything untoward can happen, we can actually see exactly where they're going and what the direction of the herd is. Isn't that nice? There's something very profound about being semi-exposed to elephants like this. It's calming on one hand, but on the other hand it's kind of just makes you catch your breath a little bit, which is great. You know you're alive and want to remain such. Not so Chandra. Chandра's shaking his head. He's not sure if he wants to remain alive, but I do. I know I do. A nice question from you that is nice because it doesn't have an obvious or simple answer. You say, are there any other animals other than, say, rhino, which we wouldn't want to habituate to human beings on foot? No, I don't suppose there are, Xranga. I just think that it's not possible with some animals. You know, lions and leopards will habituate to people on foot to a certain extent, and so will lions to a certain extent, but they're always going to remain wild. They're never like you've seen elephants around the vehicles where they totally ignore us completely. They just carry on and go about their business in the same way that the cats do. You can get to that stage with elephants in some areas if you're constantly around them on foot, but you will never get that way with a lion. You'll never be able to walk up to a lion pride and sit down in amongst it and it'll just ignore you. That's never going to happen. It's not in a wild area like this. So it's not so much a question of not wanting to do it, because it would be very nice to be able to walk people there, but at the same time, it would take away, I think, from the wildness of this if all these animals were so completely used to us on foot that we could just walk in amongst them. And I think it would make us slightly less, perhaps, respectful of being out here. So no, we don't really want all the animals to have that kind of habituation to us on foot. There's a chap called Kim Walliter who operates in a place called Mashatu up on the Botswana, the corner between Botswana, Zimbabwe and South Africa. And he's habituated a hyena clan there to the extent that he's able to sit at the den. He sits and he writes his blogs with the hyena cubs playing around him. It's an amazing thing to see. And in an isolated incident like that, I think that's cool. I think it's fine. I wouldn't like to do that with all the animals here, because it would start to feel a little bit like a zoo, I feel. They have no idea we're here, these elephants. They're just trying desperately to try and find enough food to eat. Now, Elu Nayabi, I think you're a new viewer, and it's wonderful to have you with us. So thank you for sending first your question, and now your second question. Or just before I answer it there, we've just been spotted. See that one with its ears out, Gendre? I think she spotted us there. See how she's opened her ears? She's scratching her ears and listening. She's not threatened, but she's just indicating that she has seen us. Now, we are 200 feet from them, so we're in no danger here. But that thing that she's doing there with her ears is saying, I've seen you, and I'm not that comfortable. She'll now tell the others around her if that threat to her feels substantial. I don't think it does. She's still kind of flicking her tail normally. But she's most certainly spotted us up here. The rest of the herd is just carrying on. She's the oldest that I've seen so far. Isn't that interesting how she's watching us? And also interesting to me is that she has not lifted her trunk to us, which tells me that she's aware of the way the wind's blowing. She knows that if she lifts her trunk to try and smell us, she's not going to smell anything. I think that's incredible. So just to reiterate, we're in no danger here. They're not very threatened. She's just become aware of us. That's all that's happening there, and she's letting us know that she's aware of us. So we're not in any shape, way or form going to try and engage in some sort of Red Bull extreme experience here. We're just going to view them here, and if it looks like she becomes even slightly more threatened by us, we'll move away. So while we wait and see what happens, Elu Nayabi, you want to know who the leader is, or what? You'll find there that that's the matriarch, probably. And she's gathering now the others towards her. There's a little one, two little ones moving towards her. And I'm sure that she's spoken to them very quietly. So the basic, now we've been spotted by another one, the basic social structure is a matriarchal society where the biggest female will lead the herd. Not the biggest, the oldest female will lead the herd. This is just fantastic. They'll be talking to each other very quietly with low rumbles that we are unable to hear. Now, Kevin, just before we move off this mound here, you want to know what would be the best course of action were an elephant to charge? Again, depends how close you are. So if she turned around and started coming this way, we would just go back off the termite mound. If it looked like she was serious enough, we'd make Gendre drop his pack, and we'd just walk off quickly. They're moving off now. So they've obviously decided we're too much of a threat, and they're not happy about it. That makes me sad that's happened, because we were watching them and it was all so calm and so nice, and obviously they are threatened by us, and so they've moved off, which is not ideal. Ideally we should have moved off before that happened, I think, but we couldn't tell when it was going to happen. Alright, wonderful sighting. Let's head back to the Leopard and Brent. We're going to head slowly back towards the north.
So we've tried to get you a view of Tingana he's actually eating the skull of the impala now. So I think it's a relatively, maybe last year's baby, or an adult now by this stage, but I can't see any horns. So he's actually opened up the brain cavity. Probably they do that with the smaller antelope, and the brain is a very nutrient-rich meal. I can hear some more impala snorting in the background. So there's lots of impala around here, and hopefully one just meanders into where Karula's lying. It is possible. I'm just going to maybe try, if we roll back a bit, we have a slightly better view. Just trying to see if I can find a little window through the bushes. No, I think where we were was best. Maybe a bit further forward. Okay, you can see where his paw is. That's the ear. And you can just hear that bone crunching. I'm going to keep quiet. Sharp piece of bone. So they've been quite lucky the hyenas haven't discovered them yet. Now there's a couple of reasons why the hyenas possibly haven't discovered. The first is that there's still that elephant carcass that the hyenas are all feasting on in Buffelshoek. And secondly, the den is literally on the opposite end of the property, or it's even off our property in the Manuleti, but where the main denning area for the hyenas here at Djuma is literally on the opposite end of the property in the northwestern corner. We're quite close to the southeastern corner. I'm just trying to see if we're going to get a view of the cubs from down here again. And unfortunately, oh, there he is. So he's popped out into the open. So he might be a better bet than Mr. T at the moment. It looks like little Hasana. I didn't have a great look. Oh, quickly. There's a francolin coming right towards him. Okay, so he's in the exact same spot he was earlier. He spotted the francolin. There we go. There he is. Oh, there he is. He spotted the francolin. Look at how flat his ears have gone. So the francolin's no more than about 1.5 meters from him. I wonder if he's going to make a pounce. Franklin's just beyond him. Now, could he chase that unsuspecting Franklin into his sister? Oh, no, he's decided napping is more important than chasing birds. Oh, Mr. Hosanna, you got me so excited there for a second. Now, that Franklin still didn't spot him because we would have heard the alarm calls. So when I saw that movement, I immediately assumed it could have been his sister, but as I just suddenly saw that sort of avian head pop through. So unfortunately, all the leopards are in not the best spots to view them at the moment, except for Queen Karula. And I don't think that situation is going to change too much down here in the riverbed. So I think let's go make sure before the end of show we've got a nice leopard out in the open. And of course it is a firm favourite, the Queen of Djuma. I'm just going to do that roundy, roundy, turny, turny. Hi Aubrey. Aubrey is 18 years old, and Aubrey would like to know, do I think leopards are nicer to their cubs than lions are? Probably not, Aubrey. You got to be tough to survive out here in the African bush, and I think the tough lessons dealt by the parents, or in particular with leopards, the mothers, we don't want to fall into the hole, are very, very important in having that cub survive, because it is tough out here. You got hyenas, you got lions, you got elephants, so you've got to be have a bit of a mean streak in you to survive. Oh, Karula's in the beautiful light. Let's get back to her. She is still napping, soaking up the morning rays. I'm quite happy. The sun seems to have won the battle with the clouds. There we go. How's that? We've got Hi, Joey. Joey's in Australia, and Joey would like to know, how many times have I successfully seen a leopard make a kill? And just tell us a little bit about it. Well, I've probably lost count, Joey. I've seen it quite a few times. Unfortunately, oopsie, sorry about that. Me and cables are just not the best friends. I managed to get them hooked over everything. So I've literally lost count. I think it's an incredible thing to watch. They're such great camouflage artists, and when they're stalking, the movements are almost, they move so slowly it almost doesn't look like they're moving at all. Well, like Karula's doing now. Oh no, she's got an itchy. But so Jay, and they are incredible. One of the most fascinating ones I've ever seen is I saw a leopard drop down from a tree and grab a duiker. Now that is very unusual. They normally do most of their hunting on the ground. It's quite dangerous to drop from high onto an animal. You can injure yourself, and of course any injury could be very detrimental towards these big cats, as it impedes their hunting prowess. Now, I'm trying to think. I've seen leopard kill a lechwe a couple of times. I've actually seen a leopard drown a lechwe in the Okavango Delta. Caught it and then held its head underwater in very shallow water. I've seen them catch warthogs. I've seen them catch kudu. Of course, impala, quite a few impala. I think another one of the strangest leopard kills I've ever seen actually was here on Djuma, but it happened to be while we were off air, unfortunately. We saw Quarantine kill a side-striped jackal. That was quite fascinating. The jackal was actually being chased by hyenas and ran straight into Quarantine, and he killed it. He didn't manage to kill it, actually, just bit it in the middle of its back. And then the hyenas arrived and chased him up a tree. And then that poor jackal was struggling to get up. It had a broken back and was making the most terrible distress calls. And then hyenas rushed in and killed it, finished the job, and ate it. Oh, sleepy kitty. So I think it's going to be interesting to see on the sunset safari whether Karula decides to move off, or we're going to find them in the same area, because I'm 100% certain that there's going to be no, oh, that fly on her nose, there's going to be no kill left to speak of. So whether she's going to move and take the cubs for a drink at one of the little water holes or pans around here, or is she going to hang around in this area and maybe only move a little bit later? So I'm very excited to see what's happening on the sunset safari. I think everything's calming down here. So we're going to leave this area and leave the leopards to their slumber, and hopefully, I feel like some elephants on the way home. Now, Karula, please be kind. Don't move a muscle. Only start moving when we get back here for the sunset safari. Okay. Oh, heads up. Heads down. We're going to move out of the block now. Well, it has been an incredibly interesting morning. That Karula left the cubs very close to Tingana while trying to hunt those impala, but she has come back. There we go. So actually I'll just quickly go past the spot where she actually killed that impala. Again, sorry about that. The door handle is my enemy today. Okay, so she killed that impala on this seep line. So the impalas like feeding in these areas, but she's got great cover on the edge. So to continue with what Joey was asking about, is that the light's a bit bad from this side. There we go. So you see that little dark patch over there, and that one there. That's dried blood and feces that came out of that impala. Oh, sorry about that, guys. There we go. And you see there's a few flies around, but that's actually where she killed that impala. Isn't that absolutely amazing? So while oh, look there, look, there's a carrion beetle as well coming to eat the blood, scuttling about. Oh, it goes, feeling a bit self-conscious. So while we move out of this thicket, we're going to go back to James, who's on foot at Quarantine.
I am not in foot, everybody. I am in the sky, flying like a bird. Not really, I'm in a tree. A very small, scraggly little marula tree that I just felt like I should climb up. Now, we had a question about how many different kinds of trees there are in this area. It's from Kim. Kim Kim, I suspect the number of tree species, if you were to count them all, for Djuma would probably be about 150 or so. But in the Kruger region, in the entire Kruger region, you'd probably find 900 or so different species of plants and shrub. And so, I'm just trying to think, maybe about 200 around Djuma, but there are lots of different habitats in the Kruger region and in Mpumalanga and Limpopo, and so different kinds of habitats do spawn far different suites of vegetation than, for example, you would find a much greater variation in the vegetation than you would find perhaps in the animals. So I think that's probably how many there are in this area. I couldn't tell you for sure though. Right, we're going to say goodbye to you, I think. Now, are we, Rebecca? We are. Alright, we're going to say goodbye to you until this afternoon. So thank you very much for coming on our little bush walk with us. I think we've had a lovely time, haven't we, Gendre? Gendre is looking morose, but that's just because that's what he's doing. Thank you, Herbert, for your efforts today, and a big thank you to the final control. We'll hand you over to Brent and the Leopards for the last few minutes of the drive, and we'll see you this afternoon at 3 o'clock. Bye-bye.
So we're still trying to extricate ourselves from the thickets here, and I think I've got a good way following up that seep line that we went looking for Karula hunting on earlier. I just have to be on the game drive comms for a second. Ephraim. If you making your way towards these ingwes. Sorry about this. Okay, if our best access is from the Mamba Road, you should see the Morven Konzo. I'll drop a branch. There's a branch on the road. There's a weeping wattle. So the best view is of Karula. She's lying up on the northern side of the drainage, and then Tingana is eating the nyama, and the Mampimpans are in the thickets on the southern side of the Shkoga. Okay, there we go. Update's done. We are back on a road better traveled, and what an exciting morning it's been. I know I got sidetracked from my lion tracking when we spotted Karula stalking up a little drainage system, and I'm really hoping they're going to be around. I'm pretty sure she's going to move either during the day, but I'm hoping she's going to wait till we get there on the sunset safari to sneak off. And fingers crossed, everyone, that she either goes north or west. She mustn't go south or east. She is quite close to our southern and eastern boundary. And I wonder where those Nkahumas have got to. They must be around somewhere. So hopefully they'll make an appearance sometime during the day. Keep a lookout on the dam cam during the day. You never know. They might miraculously appear. And everyone must be nice to Zander, and who's getting the grips on the cameras. It's very different shooting live from shooting to shooting normal documentaries where you have time to level your tripod, take your time, and whereas here it's go, 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 and especially when he's got difficult characters like James and myself to deal with. Jamie is of course sweet and lovely. James and I are probably not, and I'm sure Zander will get the ropes very quickly, but just bear with while he gets used to the live safaris. He's got good mentors in Viam and Gendre, and of course Brian Joubert and the creature that controls him, the thumb, will be back today. So that's very exciting to have Brian coming back from his holiday. I'm sure he's going to be very well rested and in the most jovial of moods. And also we're lucky enough to get Steph back. So dispatch is wondering, where do we live? Well, we live at the DRC, and of course that is not the Democratic Republic of Congo. It is the Djuma research camp. So half our team, or a bit more than half our team, live there, and then a couple of us live at Ingas. which is one of the landowners. It's her private house on Djuma, which is on the other side of quarantine from the DRC. But we have all our meals and meetings and all that type of stuff at the DRC, where the majority of the crew lives. Dispatch would also like to know, what's it like living here? Well, I think it's quite wonderful, and I think most of our crew would agree. We do love being out in the bush, and we're extremely part of that rare breed who really love their jobs. And we work with an incredibly passionate bunch of characters, and it's a really incredible social dynamic that we've got there, because you could not have more different personalities and people, and somehow we all just seem to gel really well, which is great, because we not only work together, we live together. There's no going home after work. Home and work are one and the same. Oh, hello. We got some lovely kudus, some female kudus, and off they go. They're just moving around now that it's a bit warmer. Gonna head towards the crests and start feeding on all the different leaves. But from Wiem, Zander, and myself here on the Rust Bucket, and the rest of the Safari Live crew, it's been a wonderful having you on the Sunrise Safari with us, and I'm sure James has kept you up in stitches, climbing trees, termite mounds, seeing elephants on foot, and we were incredibly lucky to spend almost our entire drive with the incredible leopards of Djuma Private Game Reserve, and I'm definitely going to try and make my way back there on the Sunset Safari, and it's going to be fascinating to see how that dynamic plays out. Hopefully, as well, as I said a bit earlier, the Nguma Pride makes another appearance, and the clouds have been beaten away by the sunshine, which puts a smile on my dial, and I'm looking forward to a cup of coffee and getting ready to do it again in a few short hours on the Sunset Safari. So a toodaloo, and we'll see you a little later.